Hey everyone, Kasubia, we are back with another video. Today we have a lot of updates on these free games on the Epic Store and the Steam deals, and the last chance for today under $1 to $9 and just 20 to 30 rupees to 800 rupees. So under these segments there are the cheapest and also comes with the budget games. So without wasting any time, let's get to the video. So the first free game is the Turmoil. Turmoil is the free on the Epic Store, is the drill for the oil like $18.99. Turmoil offers the players visually charming, tongue-in-cheek take on the simulations genre inspired by 19th century oil rush in North America. So this is kind of simulations games which you drill for the oil, go for the business managements and all that stuff, where you explore these kind of simulations and the games from these business perspectives. So that's a free on Epic Store. I think that's a good one. Simulation strategy turn-based based games. So that's a free. It's worth to check it out. Moving to our main segment, which is the games under the $1 to $9 and 20 to 30 rupees to 800 rupees. So under Disco Asylum comes first on the final cut, which is the 75% off to $124, almost like a $3 to $4, which is the RPG story Read Choices Matter detective game. Based on that, you are a detective with the unique skill systems at your disposal and a whole city to carve on your path across, interrogate unforgettable characters, crack murders, or take bribes, become a hero or an absolute disaster of a human being. So it's an RPG, your choices matter. As long as the choices you have, you will proceed as further you make the choices. So that's a pretty good deal, and it's overwhelmingly positive reviews. Or more than 100,000 players has been reviewed very positive. So it's a 75% off 294. That's a great deal. The next game is the Steel Rats. Steel Rats is action racer platformer arcade bikes game, which is 90% off, just a 59 rupees, almost a less than even $1, which is kind of like a 50 to 60 cents. So these games based on the rig and ride of the Versailles groundbreaking evolutions of the 2.5D arcade action game genre, fusing destructive octane-fueled motorbike combat with the death-defying stunt gameplay set in a visual, stylized retro future world. Switch between your 4 unique characters as you wreak havoc. So it's a pretty cool concept with the bikes. All you play with this 2.5D's environment, and also take the combats with your bikes as well. You take down every obstacles and also do some destructive heavy combats with your bikes only. So that's a pretty new concept and pretty amazing to play on. So it's a 90% off, 59 rupees, almost like a 60 to 70 cents, just on a less than $1. So that's a pretty good deal. Moving to the next game is the Soulstice. Soulstice is 85% off, 134, almost like a $1 and few cents. So it's a hack and slash spectacle fighter action adventure game. Explore the dark world of bringing to the hidden mysteries, master diverse combat system, and inhabit the dual forces of the twin sister in a coming of dark fantasy ages story with the fast-paced actions, vicious enemies, and spectacular bosses fights. So you have a sister which talks to you as in a soul. You gain some more dark energy as you transform into something else. So then your sister gonna take control of that, and also you can also have their abilities to perform on the combats. So it's a pretty good concept and hack and slash game. So it's 85% off, 134, almost like $1 a few cents. So that's a great deal. Moving to our next game, which is my beloved as well, which is Watch Dogs. So it is 75% off, 349, almost like a $4 to $5. Although you can buy the complete versions, which is 80% off, 419, almost like a $4 to $5. So this game is totally based on the hacking and open world action multiplayer games, but multiplayer is working or not, I don't have the idea. But you have to connect with these Uplay games if you want to play online, but you can go for the offline as well. So about this game, you play as an Aaron Pierce, which play as a hacker and hacks all the CTOS systems and drop downs every monopoly of these operating systems, which takes under control the city and try to manipulate all this governance. So you play as an Aaron Pierce and you hack downs and track downs all the mafias and all that stuff. So that's a pretty good deal, as I can say. 75% off, $349, almost like a $4 to $5. So I will highly suggest you to check it out. Moving to our next segment is coming up from the Far Cry series. So Far Cry series, Far Cry 6 is 75% off 749, Far Cry 5 is 85% off 449, Far Cry 4 is 80% off 299, Far Cry 3 is 75% off 249, and Far Cry first one, which is 70% off 149. So the Far Cry 6 is adrenaline-filled world, modern-day guerrilla revolution with the stunning vistas, visceral gunplays, and huge varieties of gameplay experience. They've never been better. Time to join the fights. It's kind of with the son of like Diego's and all that stuff. So you fight against of that. So it's a 75% off, $749, almost like $8 to $9. While Far Cry 5 is to discover the open world of the Hope Country, Montana. Based by the fanatical Doomsday cult, dive into the action solo or two players co-op in the story campaign, use a vast arsenal of weapons and allies, and free Hope Country from the Joseph Seed and his cult, which is 85% off, $449, almost like a $5 to $6. So Far Cry 4 is the hidden in towering Himalayas of the Kirat, a country steeped in the traditions and the violence. You are Ajay Kal, traveling in the Kirat to fulfill your mother's dying wish. You find yourselves caught up in a civil war to overthrow the oppressive regime of dictator Pagan Mine, which is 80% off, $299, almost like a $3 to $4. So Far Cry 3, the best among them all, which is discover the dark secrets of the lawless island ruled by the violence and take the fight to the two enemies as you try to escape. You will need more than luck just to escape, which is famously known as VOS. So Far Cry 3 is 75% off, $249, almost like $2 to $3. So Far Cry first one is the tropical paradise seized with the hidden evil Far Cry, a cunningly detailed action shooter that pushes the boundaries of the combat to shocking new levels. Freelance Marine Jack Carver is cruising the day he ever came to this island, which is 70% off, $149, almost like a $1.50. So these are the games which from the Far Cry series is currently on a deal, and also regarding related to their DLCs. So I will highly suggest, if you want to buy, go for the Far Cry 3, 4 and 5. And for the gameplay perspective, Far Cry 6 is much better. So that's all on you. So it's quite highly suggested to check it out. Moving to our next game is the Blacktail. So Blacktail is 70% off, $419, almost like a $5, which is almost based on the story-rich archery action adventure with the mythology on top of that. So force the island legend of Baba Yaga, a girl accused of witchcraft and expelled from her home. Leave out the origins of this Slavic myth in this one of one kind, blend into intense archery combat and dark storytelling set in a vibrant fairy tale world. So either you have to do for the good and evil to choose the energy based on that, and they have skills differently. So you want to take the dark energy or the light energy. So these are the two choices you need to make on these games, and based upon that you will get all these abilities and these skills. So this is pretty good concept and totally games based on archeries. So 70% off, $419, almost like a $5. So that's a great deal, and it's worth to check it out. Moving to our next game, which is the Suicide Guy Deluxe Plus. So it's 80% off, 58 rupees, almost like a 60 to 70 cents. So it's a puzzle platformer comedy physics first person game, it's a surreal puzzle game set in the dreams of the protagonist. Will you be able to save the thing you have loved the most and overcome the never-ending world nightmares, now in a new shiny edition? So it's a 87 rupees, 87% off, 58 rupees, almost like a 60 to 65 cents. So I think that's a pretty cheap deal, so it's worth to check it out. Moving to the next game is the PolyClassic Wild, which is the arena shooter shoot 'em up, kind of based on Western style as well. This game is an action that combines with elements of the classic retro shooter and low poly styling. The player's task is to destroy all enemies that comes across on the way. So it's a kind of an arena shooter where every waves of enemy comes up and you take down every with the gunslinging with the Western style and the different taking locations up on the train or on the rail track or some Western arena. So it's a 95% off, 54, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. So it's a pretty cheap deal. The next game is the Remothered Tormented Fathers. So it's a psychological horror gameplay. The story revolves around the Rosemary read. So 90% off 52 rupees first upon that, because it's a 50 to 55 cents, so just a half and a dollar. So a 35-year-old woman who reaches the Richard Felton house in order to investigate the disappearance of a girl called Celeste. The woman is greeted by Gloria, the nurse who takes care of the old Richard. When Dr. Felton understands the Rosemary's true intentions, the dread begins. So the key features will be all about this Lovecraftings and all stuff. So you knew psychological horrors as well, many ways to survive, movie-like cutscenes, audio closure as well, no health bars, realistic puzzles, top-notch soundtrack, and real-time loading. So it's a 90% off 52 rupees, almost like a 50 to 55 cents. So that's a great deal. Moving to our next game is the physics-based game, which is Score Goal 2 Physics Football. So it's a physics football, based on the physics. You need to make a goal. So according to that, you have a puzzles on the screen which you need to know about this, all the functionalities of it, and make a goal every time you click upon that. So it's a pretty nice deal. 90% off 52 rupees, almost like a 50 to 55 cents. I think that's a pretty important to check it out. The next game is coming up from the Amnesia, The Dark Descent. So it's a 90% off 44 rupees, almost less than even 50 cents. And also by Amnesia Recollections, which includes all the Amnesia series, The Bunker, The Rebirth, The Dark Descent, and The Machine of Pigs, which is 55% off 1886. But that's all on you, because it's under the $1, 90% off, 95% off 44 rupees, almost less than 50 cents, and 55% off if you want to try to buy a bundle, which is 1886, almost like a $20. So that's all on you, buy individually as well. So that's worth to check it out. Moving to our next game is coming out from the Guns and Zombies, which is 89% off 44 rupees, almost even less than 50 cents. Which is a side of world after the zombies apocalypse, in which the main characters have to go through the many perils. It is a story about the ordinary people who, when faced the danger, decided not to run away from it, but to fight back. So it's 89% off 44 rupees, almost like a 50 cents. So it's a pretty cheap and great games to experience if you wanted to buy the old ones. So the next game is the Double Dragon Trilogy. We already played in our childhood that Double Dragons, most famously in the NES 64-bit games. So it's 80% off 43 rupees, almost like a less than of 50 cents as well. So it's a groundbreaking uber popular games upon the arcade debut in 1987. Double Dragon is the undisputed godfather of co-op beat-em-up action game. So you have a trilogy in which you will get the Double Dragon 1, Double Dragon 2, and Double Dragon 3. So it's totally based on the martial arts. Take down the enemies have been take down every bosses with the either playing a solo or playing with co-op with your two players, remote controlled. So it's a pretty fun game when you play as a dual players, and also it takes less graphics and spaces on your PCs as well. So I think this is the best deal to make you feel childhood much better with these games. So 80% off 43 rupees, almost less than even 50 cents. So that's a great deal. The last deal of this segment, which is Blood and Bacon. So Blood and Bacon is 50% off 26 rupees, even less than 50 cents. So it's a co-op shooter, has day and night level, multiple maps, player with takes 25 enemy types and numerous bosses like Dragotan monsters and the mini bosses with every 10 days as you explore. Shoot and run for your life against the onslaught of porcine monstrosities. So it's a 50% off 28 rupees, almost even less than 30 cents. So that's a pretty damn cheapest deal that you can play and have the experience of these games. So all at the end, these all the conclusions comes under with the game deals under $1 or even less than $1 to $9. So because one or two games are just above these price segment, so I still included, because individually it's not possible to include just one game for the whole video. So that's it from my side. I'll bring back the new videos and updates regarding the games. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, keep gaming. Out here.
Yeah, boy.